Welcome back to Man Across the New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? As you can see, a label is our, what are they called? Esteemed guest of Fawnhollow today. So we'll be, I don't know, doing her clothing item, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just talk to her and give her the usual thing. I mean, we've got like 30 Taylor tickets or something, which we've never used because I have no use of them. But still, I don't know. It gives us something to do, but also I guess I have stuff to talk about. Well, it's not really much stuff to talk about. It's not like news or anything. It was something I thought about last night, and it preoccupied a lot of my time. Hello everyone, now in Fawnhollow. It's 5:10 p.m. on Monday, August 2nd, 2021. No news to share today, but let's give us all. I didn't read what it said. Isabel signing off. Yeah. Are you aware of this British UK show called Taskmaster? Because I was, I forgot it was fireworks yesterday, wasn't it? I was recently reminded of it because a friend sent it in like in our Discord. She sent like a clip from the sort of thing, and I was, reminded of it from that sort of thing. I'd never actually watched the show like in its entirety or anything, but I've seen clips of it before, and I remember being like, oh, this is absolutely hilarious and what I watched, but then that I lost it again and could never find, well, not I could never find what the show was called. It was that I never bothered to think about looking up what the show was called before. Hey Burrito, it's always fun to chat with you. You make me happy, and I thought I'd tell you a lot. So in fact, a spoiler alert, a lot of folks like you. Oh yeah, action figure. This one I'd buy too. I love that comment. My dear, when I see you falling stuck, I'm pretty sure we've had this thing. Nice try, darling. It's a secret, of course. Here's to making wishes and chasing dreams. I hope our wishes come true, Mum. Yeah, it's Taskmaster. Is a thing I saw a clip of ages ago. You've probably seen it as well, as the guy throwing a potato into like the middle of like a giant red carpet golf hole thing, and that entire clip. If you haven't seen it, you should perhaps go look it up. It's really funny. Well, I mean, maybe you won't find it funny, but I found it funny. And that's really all I can do in the case of giving a recommendation, is be like, I found it funny. So, yeah. Wait, hold on. What fish was that? Was that a specific fish or was that five fish? I think that was a specific fish. A Mackie. Are you insane? I'm not going to be able to catch a Mackie. Are you out of your head? Are you out of your mind? So in essence, it's this UK, maybe it's just English, I don't know, but I assumed it was a UK TV show based around someone, Taskmaster. I can't even remember who plays the Taskmaster. I should know his name. I don't know anyone's celebrity's name, so I'm going to look it up. Taskmaster. It's a British game show. That's a better way of putting it. Greg Davies. That's his. Wait, what? Yeah, it's Greg Davies. Hold on. Now I think about it. I was thinking of Greg Davies with his glasses on, and I was like, what? But maybe he does wear his glasses in the show. I can't remember. Fine. I guess we'll change. It's way of Greg Davies along with. Honestly, I had no idea who the second guy is. I think his name was Alex or something. And Greg Davies is the Taskmaster, where basically he sets tasks to a panel of contestants who are often famous British, either celebrities or like comedians, and that all those sort of walks of life. What a weird way of phrasing it. And often the tasks are very strange and very obscure and impose some sort of challenge, and the task is of course trying to come up with a creative solution of trying to tackle them. And a lot of times these tasks either have like easy solutions or little cheat things, and like being creative is rewarded in the task with being able to do things, or just straight up brute forcing being able to just do whatever the strange task is well. And it's all played for laughs and that sort of thing, so it's not like a particularly serious sort of game show. It's not something you need to try particularly hard in or anything like that. What's summary? That's kind of summary, I guess. Maybe springy, I don't know. What summary? Sort of hibiscus, sure. Good enough. This looks terrible, but we're gonna roll with it. Yeah, and the whole thing, as I understand it, is the Taskmaster setting tasks for contestants, and then them having to do the task. And yeah, a friend posted this video of it. It's the You Got Fooled Taskmaster video, and I watched it and I was like, oh, I've seen the clip of his Taskmaster show. That's what that show was called. I completely forgot I saw this and I really enjoyed it and never bothered to look it up again. So thank you to that friend who I won't mention by name to respect her privacy. But it was really good. And then I found most of last night I was basically just spent the entire time watching clips of Taskmaster and looking at the challenges. And honestly, it kind of makes me want to go on that sort of show. To a certain extent, a lot of the tasks I'm just like, wow, I'd really love to do that. But some of the tasks I'm just like, oh, there's no way I'd do anything even remotely good in that sort of thing, or even funny is the point. But I guess that's kind of a point. I mean, it's meant to be entertaining. People like to see people do poorly. People like to see people do well, and that sort of thing. As long as it's like amusing in the end, that's kind of the whole crux of it in the first place. It's not really about performing well. But there's some fantastic tasks in the entire thing, and fantastic responses that people have to it in the first place, and it made me really think about that sort of thing, because it seems like there's a running thread in a lot of these Taskmaster tasks is that they seem to be like an absolute nuisance of a task to do, like straight up. Like, it seems like the only way you can do is brute force them, but somewhere scattered around the environment is like some hidden clue that actually makes it super easy. Like, one of them was there's a load of socks like hung up on like a clothesline or that sort of thing, and then one of them has like a satsuma in it or something. We had to find one of a satsuma, but they could only do certain amount of things. So like, they could only reach into 3 other socks. They could only like squeeze 10 other socks or something like that. There was like 50 or something of them hung up. But the thing is, like, the door they exited from, if they closed it on the wall, there was just a large number 8, and it just turned out if you counted the 8th one in from the left or something, that one had the satsuma in. So yeah, a lot of these tasks they're all competing against each other. It's like 5 contestants at one time. They're all competing against each other, and it's often like, oh, whoever can do this in the fastest time possible, whoever can do this in X amount of like turns or something, or whatever. And a lot of the tasks are very strange and obscure. But the most hilarious, maybe not the most hilarious one, there's a ton of hilarious moments throughout the entire thing. It's going to be difficult for me to recount them off the top of my head. But one particularly fantastic one, which was in the You've Been Fooled Taskmaster video, which if you want to look it up, by all means, it's very hilarious, was, I can't remember her name. I feel like her name was Kathy or something, but that doesn't sound right to me. It was basically, the task was for 5 of them to make the most exotic sandwich possible. You have 10 minutes to plan your sandwich and 10 minutes to create it. So of course they all went into it being like, okay, so it was probably going to be judged on how strange our sandwich is. So a lot of them were just like, we're going to put the most weird stuff in it and that sort of thing. And this lady, who I've dubbed Kathy, who probably isn't actually her name, and maybe I should look it up. Hold on. Taskmaster sandwich, exotic sandwich, Mel. Her name's Mel? I guess it's Mel. Oh yeah, it's Mel. There we go. She was like, I'm going to make the most amazing like chocolate sweet tooth sandwich of that sort of thing. So she basically made like a 10-tier layer sandwich with loads of different like chocolate treats in between. Like, there's marshmallows on the top, chocolate spreads between each of them. There was like Twix maybe, Snickers and like Mars bars, that sort of thing between every single layer. And then she made a sandwich and was like, now that is an exotic sandwich and that sort of thing. And then she got like a lunchbox in it, which had another task in it, and it was just like, second task, eat your exotic sandwich, faster time wins. So she, the realization on her face when she reads a task is perhaps one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen. It's actually unbelievable. I suppose part of it is Schadenfreude, which is, hilarious sometimes in its own right, as long as it doesn't go too far. But it's obviously something that's all in good spirits and good fun. But like, her face where she was just like, I had to eat this entire sandwich for this task, was absolutely amazing. You should absolutely go watch it yourself or something. Maybe you already have, to be honest. I don't really know, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen entire clips, or I haven't seen the entire shows in myself. I've just seen tons and tons of clips. They've all been fantastic and they've all been hilariously fun. I guess that's just, I mean, UK is pretty known for their British panel shows and that sort of thing. We've got lots of them. We've got like Would I Lie to You, 8 out of 10 Cats, QI, Have I Got News for You? Why do we have so many? Oh wait, there's 2 news ones. Hold on. Have I Got News for You is the red news one, right? Or am I Have I Got News for You? Or is it the blue news one? No, it's a red news one. What's the other? What's that blue one? What's that? Mock the Week. There we go. Yeah, it just came to mind. Like, UK's got an honestly absurd amount of or not absurd in a bad way, but just a crazy amount of British panel shows, and it's, people just like it. Okay, I guess we'll go find a hot item. and then we'll go craft it while we make our next acts as well, because people like them, and we got a huge amount of very funny comedians and presenters and personalities and that sort of thing. Wild log bench, swinging bench. I don't know which of these would be the easiest to make. Perhaps wild log bench? That's this one, right? 8 hardwood. Okay. We got... I shouldn't say we as if it's something that I've had any hand in. It's just the UK themselves have a lot of very funny personalities, and then apparently that's them as well as the British panel shows, and maybe it's a sort of snowballing effect. I don't know. I don't know the original panel shows of that sort of thing, but I'm going to just search Taskmaster tasks in Google Images and see which of these I remember being very funny. What would I search? Best tasks. Best Taskmaster moment. There's some bracket thing. Some of this is very strange. I will say, some of it is very strange. But everyone, of course, on there is a performer and a very entertaining person. So obviously, I'm not meant to. I'm not meant to, but like I'm not knocking them, because they were far more entertaining than I am. If I was on that show, I'm sure I'd be like a dead fish equivalency in comedy. But part of me just really wanted to try doing some of those tasks, because it really looks like a lot of fun. Just trying to come up with like some strange little tricks with a lot of them. Like one of them I remember, they had to paint a rainbow, but the entire thing was like, the entire like set was in the dark. Yeah, the entire set was in the dark, and the only reason they could see is like glow in the dark sort of luminescent things around like the pots and the brushes and that sort of thing, so we could see where everything is if they just had no... oh yeah, but did I mention the task was to paint a rainbow on the canvas, but we couldn't see what colour anything was, so we had to randomly guess. But it turns out there was a light switch which was actually like glowed in the dark as well, and that sort of thing. And it turns out you can just flick on the light switch and just paint it in the usual light anyway. And it's just things like that seem absolutely hilarious to me. Just sort of like, I guess I kind of like gotcha moments, but like unfair gotcha moments, because like it's a bit unreasonable to expect people to basically analyze every single detail of their surroundings and that sort of thing, and try and think of like logical loopholes that they can jump through to do the best of a task. But they're just trying to be entertaining and that sort of thing. But from my mind, like my very puzzle-solving mind, I'm just like, man, I want to do these tasks so I can figure out these sort of like little loopholes and that sort of thing, and do the tasks work smarter rather than harder, or that sort of thing. It's pretty crazy. Another one, Tree Wizard. I saw a clip of that one. Just I honestly don't remember his name. I think it's like, it starts with R. Ramesh. That sounds right. Ramesh, and he just sings, and they had to make like a video or something, but it had to be it was going to be played backwards, so they had to do everything backwards. And the Tree Wizard is just the stupidest thing, as he sings like some very strange song over the top of it. Because here's the one that was like, he was popping balloons in the forward version, but in the backwards version, of course, it looks like he's summoning balloons out of nowhere. He's like, Tree Wizard, Tree Wizard. It's like, obviously jokes aren't very good when explained again, which is probably why you need to go and like watch them firsthand. So if you're still watching and you're not instead going to go watch some Taskmaster clips, and I'd implore you to go have a glance at some of them, because they are really funny. So what else is on this like knockout bracket thing on Twitter? Tim Vine's missing hook. Don't know what that is. James Acaster's extension range. I remember that one. It was sort of like the task was build an extension to the house, because they're all in like a big house, the Taskmaster house, and I don't really know how it works if they're like staying in Big Brother style. I don't really look into it all that much, but like the task was like make an extension for the house, and they were just like working from like a garden tool shed and that sort of thing. They had like very few things, like a tarp and that sort of thing. But then like, oh yeah, they basically do these tasks like one in advance, and then they have a live recording in the studio in front of an audience where the clips are played as well in front of them, so we can see how everyone else did. So that often leads to a lot of opportunities where some individuals can be set tasks which no other individual was set, so it's just them doing it, and it's just for fun of it. It's a bit of schadenfreude humour again, like taking the mick out of them, I suppose, of that sort of thing. but you know, it's all in good fun. I suppose it's what everyone signed up for. And then also they can see how other people did it and realise if they've made a critical mistake and that sort of thing. And that one, and James and his team didn't even think about the fact that they could open the garage and use all the much better tools and equipment that they have in the garage to try and actually make a extension towards a house, because they saw the other team did it. And then the most hilarious part is one of the people on James's team opens a garage at, like, disagreed basically with what James was doing for his extension, and then went around to the garage to make his own extension. And what he did was like stick a load of paper on it, but he opened the garage, looked inside, and then closed it, because he decided, I guess internally, that he didn't need that, or didn't even really internalise that the fact that they could use all the items inside the garage, which led to a very hilarious sort of outburst and rant. It's very good. Joel, I said increasingly big smiles. That was one of his secret individual tasks, where it was like every 30 seconds he needs to look at the camera and give increasingly like happy looking smiles. It's like, I'm sorry for basically just doing the cardinal sin of jokes is just explaining the jokes instead of actually, like, you know, explaining the jokes again can never really hold a candle to actually like watching them in the first place. But it's just so funny. I'm just this is just like a self-indulgent pleasure. I'm reading these moments and then reliving them in my head from when I watched them. It's hilarious. I don't know if it's hilarious because it was actually hilarious, or maybe because I was just sleep deprived at 2 a.m. for some reason watching them, because it was a sort of I talked about this before, you know, it's about the YouTube black hole where you just see a clip and you click on the next one, you go ha ha ha, and you click on the next one, ha ha ha, you click on the next one. I mean, that's what YouTube wants. They want you to keep doing that, so they've got engagement on the side, so you can maximise the amount of bad things and that sort of thing. That's why clickbait is so extremely effective and being pushed very heavily by the algorithm in YouTube, because it's the sort of thing which gets people clicking from video to video, increasing the amount of time they stay on the website, and increasing attention rate and retention rate, maybe not necessarily attention rate, and people will see more ads and faster business and revenue profits in the first place. And it's an endless cycle of that sort of thing. And you might be like, why don't I do clickbait? And I don't want to. Because this is not my job. I don't need to think about the monetary aspects of that sort of thing. I'm just here to play games. I mean, at a certain point, Animal Crossing is also going to get the can, which is, you know, one, is not monetarily viable, and there's also, like, there's not much to it. I'm just talking. I could do that over any video game. So, yeah, I mean, I talked about Animal Crossing possibly getting the can all the time, but, you know, just not yet. Maybe at some point, though. There's just not enough reason to play Animal Crossing and do it when I could play a different game, because, you know, why don't I just, like, play some Binding of Isaac and do it, like, and, like, unlock more things as I go, you know, work towards my progress, play Binding of Isaac at the same time, and, you know, it's like 2 birds 1 stone rather than 2 birds 2 stones. Does that make sense? I guess. Mark Watson's cheeky text, that was another individual one, where for 5 months he was meant to send a cheeky text to Greg Davies or something every single day. That was a very funny one. Joe Wilkinson's potato throw, that was one I was talking about before, where the task was get the potato in the hole, but you cannot touch the red carpet, and there's like this like 2-meter radius red carpet surrounding the golf hole and that sort of thing. And they were just like, only a fool would do something as crazy as just immediately trying to throw the potato into the hole. And then it shows Joe's clip and he just sort of grabs the potato and he goes like, do I, and then he just like turns around and throws the potato in the hole, and he's like, right, done. Turns out he got disqualified because he actually put his foot on the red carpet, which is perhaps just the most tragic thing I've ever seen. To try so hard to basically be the laughing stock for your I don't know, technique, I suppose, your approach to it, and then just absolutely nail it, and then get disqualified. So sad. Alex's birth. Don't know that one. Josh's Greg tattoo. I vaguely remember this one. They were meant to like get gifts for Greg or that sort of thing using £20, and this guy got a tattoo of a word Greg on his foot, which is just insane. Rod Gilbert hides in Greg's wardrobe. Don't know that one. I'm always seeing you do cool stuff. That was like a song or something. But they were singing. They had some. It was like hold on. It was like that they met this woman. And they had like 30 minutes to like interview her, and they had to make a song about this woman. And then that was the song I made. I'm always seeing you do cool stuff. It was actually a really good song. Ramesh demolishes a watermelon. Remember that? Task was eat a watermelon, as much watermelon in 1 minute. And he just walks in and he just grabs the watermelon and smashes it on the ground instead of a table right in front of him. It just exploded everywhere. He just ate watermelon off the floor like an animal. What was I doing? We're going to Claude. Where does Claude live? We need to talk to Apollo as well, I forgot. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is Taskmaster is very funny. And it just made me think of how I'd approach a lot of these sort of tasks. Like some of them, I mean, I guess it's easier in hindsight to really do it, but some of them I'm like, I bet the twist is this, and you know, or like, perhaps I would try this sort of thing to try and skirt around the non, what's the word? The ambiguous phrasing in the sort of thing, and it turns out that was something that they could do. But of course, I'm not a comedian, so I'm not going to be very entertaining to watch. I just imagine if I'm on that show, I'd just be like, how can I break this task immediately? You know, rules are meant to be broken and that sort of thing. So yeah, obviously I'm never going to go that show. Even if I was like offered, if they were just like, would you like to go on the show? I'd be like, why? I mean, maybe I'd be like, yeah, but is this just like, why would you invite me onto a show? That's kind of cute. You do, man, you do. I mean, maybe I'd go on my show. Maybe I'd just do it for fun. And then it'd just be like, be absolutely mocked by the British public and that sort of thing. Be like, least funny person ever. On Taskmaster. But actually does tasks. Perhaps I'm a bit too task-orientated in that sort of sense. Task-oriented? Orientated isn't a word. Why do I keep saying it? No, it is a word, but it's not in this context. Maybe it is? Task-oriented. Yeah, task-oriented. What am I doing? I'm sorry, just lost myself. In the wonders of English language, I'm actually really hungry. That's probably why. Where are you, Raymond? Let me talk to you. And we'll catch some bugs and then we'll go south and stuff. I tell you, he really loved it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Do I even have anything else to say about Taskmaster? I guess I do. Like, I suppose it's that sort of thing at Taskmaster itself is, it's like the typical thing we do in school where it's just like, oh, you need to read all the instructions before you start the task, which I'm surprised they haven't had a task like that yet, or at least it wasn't in the clips, maybe they do. If you don't know what that thing is the teacher gives you like a list of 50 instructions and whoever completes it first wins, and then the first instruction is read all the instructions carefully before starting, and then it turns out the last instruction is disregard every instruction from step 1 to step 49 and just like put up your hand and then you're finished or something like that. And then the humour of it is to basically drill into students' heads, hey, you should read all the instructions, especially before you start like an exam or anything like that. To read them carefully, because you might find something which enlightens something beforehand, and then you just sort of get to sit back and laugh once you realise this, and you get to look at everyone else who's just instead doing instructions step by step over and over again as I go downwards. Like, you know, the first time I ran into it, I remember I was determined to do it very quickly, so I started what? Hi, Lily. You just talked about oh, maybe I clicked a TV instead of talking to Apollo. I guess it's good, right? It isn't, because I didn't finish reading a book in time anyway. What was this, a book club meeting? And so I'd say, hey kiddo, what's on your mind? Let's chat. You think this is a party or something? What with Lily in the house? It's Lily in the house. It's a party every week. What bug is this? Goliath Beetle, are you out of your mind? I'll leave you to it. You look like you're having fun hanging out. Also, Apollo's pad looks pretty cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was determined to do it very quickly. So of course, as soon as it started, I went boom straight away. And the first one, read all instructions. Okay, you know, I'll have a quick skim over the next few. And the second one was like, take a piece of paper out your book or something, like fold it in like a certain way and draw lines. And I did the first three when I had a glance at the list and I was like, wow, there's actually so many instructions. How many are there? And I looked down to see what the last number was, and I saw 50. And I saw, do not do, in capitals, do not do all other instructions. I was like, what? And then I read it properly, and I read through all the instructions properly then. And I was like, oh, I get it now. And then thus put up my hand. The teacher gave me a nod. Was like, what? She's read all the instructions. She knows what's going on. I don't think we have a moray or thing now. Think about it. I don't know if we've Got that. We need to sell this. I can't remember if we got that or not. Or just sell this for now and, you know, deal with that later. Yeah. I mean, I sort of sat there smugly. Well, not smugly, but as I looked over to other people. And I remember reading the instructions and I got so involved at one point. And for some reason, the only instruction I can remember in the middle was like you had to divide, like draw a square in the middle of a page and then divide it into 4, and in the top right you had to write your favourite food. I can't remember if I did or not, but I feel like I have this vague memory of me just doing the instructions anyway after I, you know, found out that I didn't have to do them all, just for fun, because I mean, like, what else am I going to do? Just like sit there doing nothing? If anything, the people who didn't didn't read all the instructions were benefited, because they actually got to do something for it was like 20 minutes or whatever. You might ask, was I the first person to realise I'm class? No. As it turns out, some other people had this task before and they knew beforehand. But then, our teacher, maybe it wasn't the exact same teacher, but maybe it was a different teacher, did the exact same, like, sort of thing again. And most of us, by that point, because we were already done it before with the same teacher, or, like, we did it in year 7 with one teacher and everyone knew, then we did it again, maybe in, like, year 8. Or maybe it might have been in the same year now I think about it, which is just absurd. I guess maybe it was a test to see if we still remembered or not, but I think it was with a different teacher. And then we all basically just knew as soon as we saw him, we just looked down and everyone just like almost immediately looked to each other being like, okay. That one I remember I definitely did after we acknowledged it was a sort of thing where you didn't have to do it. Did I get rid of all my coconuts? We didn't have to do all the tasks. I did all the tasks anyway just to sort of see them. But I remember this very well because there was this one kid in our class who didn't realise it, despite the fact we already taught this lesson, that you didn't have to do all the tasks. And one of the tasks, like number 7 or something, was like stand up and yell something at the top of your lungs. And credit to him, he did it. And of course everyone ended up snickering at him, being like, what's he doing? He didn't realise that you didn't have to do the task and that sort of thing. And then his realisation at the end, after it was revealed that he didn't have to do all the tasks, he was just like, ah. Oh. It was a very funny moment. He was actually a bit of a joker, from what I remember, but I don't really remember all that well, so maybe he wasn't. But it was a very funny moment, I thought. So yeah, basically, I feel like Taskmaster's got that sort of energy. I know that was a bit of a weird, like, tangent, but it's got that sort of energy where it's just like, oh, you know, read all the instructions carefully before starting. Except for now, it's more like a creative exercise in lateral thinking. Because a lot of the tasks are sort of sidestepped if you can just creatively think of a way out of actually doing them. Like one of them was like, you had to get these 3 yoga balls to sit still on the yoga mat on the top of that hill over there. But then one person was like, what if I interpret it as them referring to the yoga mat on the hill over there, not that the balls also need to be on the yoga mat on the hill over there. It's just specifying which yoga mat. So he ran up, brought the yoga mat down, and then put the balls on, rather than having to individually bring up every single yoga ball and then have to micromanage them from rolling away. Do we have enough time to do fossils? I don't think we have enough time to do fossils. Oh, have we checked our Nook mail terminal? We haven't done that yet. I think we'll deposit some money in around this episode here. And it's great stuff like that, you know, because I guess it's sort of just like playing with contestants for full, which is, you know, kind of what they signed up for, I suppose. But it's just like as an audience member, you can sort of laugh at them or perhaps along with them. Just being like, ha ha ha, look, they didn't understand, or they didn't think about this very clever way of doing the task, but you as your audience at home being told the clever way to do the task and just be like, ha ha ha, I definitely would have thought of it if I did it. But if you, in actuality, if you went on the show and you did it yourself, you probably wouldn't have think of this sort of thing, and you'd probably be the centre of, not derision, but laughter in the first place. It's very entertaining, and I suppose I find myself laughing along with it, so perhaps I am the fool. Who really knows? But yeah, anyway, I guess we'll round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling, Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope I can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.